of the day. Justina Pelletier. This story will not stop. It will not. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. God only knows what the mind can imagine of what the hell they have put this little girl through, and for what? What? Who gains from this? Who gains from anything that this liberalism does? I still cannot name one frickin' thing. Not one. Not one thing that has been beneficial to the American people. To America, period, the country. Anything. Coming from liberalism. Nothing. Zero. Nada. This kind of stuff, I don't get it. I don't get it, other than to show that they have power. Oh, look at me. Yeah, okay, I'm looking at you. Now what? You're a fat slob. What am I supposed to think? I've got power. Oh, really? So you can just take kids out of emergency rooms and just declare them, decree them. You must have king status too. How many kings do we have in this country now? Huh? Thought we had only the one. Old Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Insane Obama. Thought he was the only king. This is what it brings, I'm telling you. Trickle-down tyranny. This is how it starts. And this is how it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And all you got to do is open up your frickin' eyes once in a while, clean out the wax in your ears, sit down and shut the hell up, pay attention. You'd be surprised what you can actually learn by just saying nothing. I love listening to people. There's something in my throat again today. Any more grog, I guess. I don't know. Maybe too much grog. But I love listening, especially when I was a kid. I used to love listening to them old codgers talking about. I mean, World War II was always a topic of discussion. You know, I just loved listening to all those different kinds of stories, and especially then when I got in the Navy, all them old salts, man, they had some stories, man. Let me tell you, sailors have stories, and I've got stories, a lot of which I cannot do over these airwaves. I mean, we're sitting at a bar and having a, you know, whatever. That's a different story. But we better start getting focused here now. This is what happens. You start talking about these liberals and kaboom! I swear to God, it's some kind of mental plot. Get you distracted. So they can go over there and claim more land. So they can build a wind farm. Why do you need to build it there? That's what I'd like to know. We got more crap on that today, too. Like, there's not enough land to build a stupid wind farm that doesn't really work, and nobody's really going to benefit again. What benefits? Who benefits? Who benefited from this Justina Pelletier? Was this an experiment? Well, we can't get any answers anywhere. I've written letters to just about everybody, including that doctor, that Buongiorno. I thought Buongiorno was like a... Wasn't it like a pizza company or something? Don't they make pizza, or they make tomato sauce or something? Don't they make frozen pizzas? Buongiorno? Haven't you ever heard that name? I've heard that name. I don't know what the hell it is. I'm not Italian. What am I supposed to do? But it's something. It doesn't matter. This woman, a so-called psychologist, came in and what takes real doctors months and years to determine whether somebody's got this particular kind of, well, there was a name that they called it. I found this somewhere in all my crap. I get stuff coming left and right. I got something here. If I could ever shut up and get to it, I do got some kind of breaking news here. Undifferentiated somatoform disorder. Well, what the hell is that? I had this written down. I got several notes. I mean, you ought to see this desk of mine. Undifferentiated somatoform disorder. I mean, if you've got a disorder, aren't you already undifferentiated? I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm not a friggin' doctor. I can't figure all this Latin crap out. Good God. No wonder they scribble, because they can't spell the frickin' words. So they just use sloppy hand language. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. I don't know how they learn how to spell all those names. And the names, I mean, do they got to be like 45,000 letters? I mean, can you just, you're sick. Give me something that'll unsick me and get me the hell out of here. Jesus Christ. Anyway, what I'd like to know is how this stuff is actually, first of all, legal, but deeper than that, much deeper than that, is how people can allow themselves into their minds to do something like this. It starts with a government grant, which makes it just absolutely, I mean, how big is this? How are these medical studies allowed to go on? I mean, don't you think that if you're doing some kind of study and you're using human specimens, say there's a new drug or something out there and you want to test for cancer, and people are like, hey, man, it's my last resort. All this other crap didn't work. Let me go give it a shot. Wouldn't you? Sure. I'm sure a lot of people would. Okay. That's one thing. They consent to it. That's one thing. That's different. But you don't have the right just to take subjects because you need to fill a billet so you can keep your grant. And since there was absolutely zero proof whatsoever, why the head doctor, a cop, for Christ's sakes, anybody, should have said at this point, hey, now, wait a minute, let me see the evidence before you call in children or the Department of Children and Families, the welfare. Before you call them, let's see some evidence here. What proof do you have? Well, don't you understand? They disagreed with my diagnosis. Yeah, but you're 7 months out of medical school, you little punk ass. Who the hell are you? Sit down and shut up. You might goddamn learn something once in a while. God almighty, 7 months out of medical school? This guy. He's making all these executive decisions. Calls in psychologists. They come in. Oh, okay. I'll get you what you want. Okay, 25 minutes later, you got this undifferentiated somatoform disorder. And since you've been abused, yeah, I know, getting a second opinion and disagreeing with a doctor, that's abuse. Isn't that abuse? Yeah. But not taking her from her family, not allowing her to talk and to see her family, but on very short, maybe once a week, heavily supervised meetings. That's not abuse? Leaving her in a room with no medical attention except for the little tests that you did on her? God only knows what you did. That's not abuse? She was on a vitamin regimen and keeping up, being able to go ice skate and go to her special school. She did have a little bit of a learning disability. Okay, you can't knock her for that. Girl's got a lot of problems going on. So you take away her medication and throw her in a room to die? So you can get a grant? You're 7 months out of medical school? And you can determine this, and you can decide because they disagreed with you. Well, they didn't come in to see you, you little punk. They came in to see Dr. Flores, who's already treated her before. And has been out of medical school a little more than 7 months, which means he's a lot smarter than you. I mean, the nerve of that, the resident there in the ER. I mean, my God, you would think working in the ER, you've always got a crowd. Don't you think the guy would want to pass him off to the other doctor? Free him up a little bit. She doesn't need emergency medical care in the first frickin' place. She's got problems with her gas. She wants to see a gas doctor. She doesn't need to see a 7-month out of medical school little, bandage wrapper. Whatever the hell they do. People get it all cuts up and broken bones, and they heal them up. Emergency rooms are always filled with blood. That's why I hate going into there. I don't need to see people all gashed up and blood guts hanging out, and arteries spitting blood. Just don't need to be seeing any of that. Puking. I hate that. Don't puke. Good God. Puke makes me puke. I hate even talking about it. Change the subject. Can we get on the topic of the day today, please? Justina Pelletier. You know who she is. But I'm sorry, but this just makes me, how big this is, and nobody said word one. Nothing. Everybody has allowed this to go on. Everybody. Everybody in the hospital. Nobody in the hospital, a goddamn nurse. Not even a nurse, for Christ's sakes, could have stood up and said something. This has been a year and a half. Why hasn't anybody said anything along the way? Why hasn't the judge who said, okay, the kid's got to go back to the parents, why didn't he write that down? And don't give me this nonsense, Mr. Governor Man. Because your goddamn filthy frickin' hands are tied. I'm sick and tired of this crap. I can't do anything. Well, then what the hell are you doing in office? Aren't you there to do things? Isn't that what a governor does? Doesn't a governor, manage the frickin' state? Isn't this going on in this state? I'm pretty sure it is. It's not going on in outer space here, Governor. It's going on in your frickin' state. My God, why are people so afraid? I don't understand this. We'll go to war over some goddamn cows, but we can't muster up any outrage over a 15-year-old girl left in a room to die. And now it comes out she's written a letter, snuck a letter to her father. This girl can't talk about anything to her parents. They're not allowed to, and they're heavily supervised. Well, this girl still has enough left in her. Writes this little note and somehow snuck it to her dad. Her dad's had it for a couple of weeks but didn't want to release it. I would have released it right away. If I was the father, I'm sorry, but I would be in jail right now on assault charges. It just seems like one of those things that would have happened. Or maybe somebody, held me down and kept me from getting to that point. But I would feel deep in my heart at that point. You know what I mean? That's how I can say it. Exactly what I would do, I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows nothing until you're in that situation. I understand. But my heart would be there. I can tell you that. There'd be a lot of things going on in my mind. I'll tell you that. So I'm there mentally. Physically, that's a whole different story. But mentally, yeah. I don't know. But when this girl has to pen a note and hide it and sneak it to her dad in one of her meetings, and now this just came out yesterday or last night. This was from the Blaze, so I trust it. When I first read it, a lot of times you get a lot of stuff on the internet. That stupid Facebook, everybody posting all these breaking news. They've got all these different sites on there that are basically onions. You know that onion site? Okay, it's fun to read, ha ha, he he, when you're like 12, 13, and you read a couple of stories, and then you're bored. So there's a lot of crap out there, so you got to be kind of particular. But this came from the Blaze. I do trust it. Glenn Beck, I think, is, he does, so far, he's always been, I would consider credible when he's got one of these stories. So I decided to read a little more and couldn't believe it. Well, actually, I could believe it. But what I can't believe, still, now that this is out, why still is there no Why was that not a big topic on news last night? Why are there no people down there? I guess she's not a cow. There's no money in her. Is that what it is? There's no money in Justina? Well, how much is a 15-year-old girl worth these days anyway? What's the going rate? She needs medical attention, so that's going to add to that. So maybe her value is going to drop. Is that it? Well, she can't walk very well, so her value is going to have to drop again, and she can't communicate all that well, so again, the value's got to drop. But if she were a cow, even a sick cow, you think a sick cow would get medical attention right away? Pretty sure. Them ranchers, they take care of them cattle. The feds didn't. There was a lot of them that died. Trampled on, little baby cows dying. Little baby cows losing their mama. God only knows what part of the range they're on. They freak out. They did it on purpose. Over 100 and some odd cows died. This is supposed to be Bureau of Land Management. Preserve the sacred turtle. But they go out and kill cows, and they also kill the turtle. They're killers. They're animal killers. Where are you, you left groups? Huh? Where's that animal group? What do they call that animal group? I can't remember. All these stupid names. PETA. That's the goddamn group. Where's PETA on this? Look at all the cows that died. How come PETA's not out there? Oh, that's right. Harry Reid, and they love Harry Reid. He's a good Democrat. So what's going on with this 15-year-old girl? She's just not worth as much as a cow? This is a human life, for Christ's sakes. This isn't a frickin' cow. This isn't a turtle. This isn't a goddamn wind farm. This isn't your fat little wallets. This is a human life. My God. I don't understand why the media isn't all sideways over this. When nobody wants to read about a 15-year-old girl abused, she has to pen a letter. Let me read this letter here. They hurt me all the time, push me all the time, and more. And I've read the letter. I'm sure you've probably seen it too. If not, you go on the internet and you'll see it. Says they do not let me sleep very much. And then she writes, hurry, meaning somebody please come and rescue me. Now, with this, that immediately right there. Now, I know there's a bunch of lawyers, but I'm sorry, but immediately right there, the judge, somebody should have informed the judge, one of the attorneys, somebody. Goddamn staff member who's supposed to be looking stuff up, instead is watching the goddamn television. Even him, anybody. Tell the judge, hey, dude, that girl's got to get out of there now. We got abuse. Maybe you want to do something, huh? How about getting police down there and arrest these people for abusing this kid? At least investigate it. Why aren't you investigating it? Well, because we gotta find out, the letter, it could have been, he could have written it, we don't really know. And we've got enough evidence to know that what's going on down there is wrong and needs to be corrected immediately. And then when you get something like this, I think it's overkill. We've already had enough evidence. How much evidence do we need to impeach this president and his entire administration? How much more evidence do we need? There's enough evidence to know. Anybody paying attention, or if anybody is willing to pay attention, you can't even get people willing to pay attention. She's not worth very much. She's not a cow. She's only a 15-year-old girl who can hardly speak and hardly walk. That's not worth very much. In a wheelchair most of the time. But if it's a cow, look at all the steaks you can get out of it. Look at all the milk you can get out of it. Look at all the cheese you can make. Hurry, she says. Hurry. Well, that right there, that says everything right there. Please, hurry, for God's sakes, come on. I don't understand why this is taking so long. Why isn't somebody this should be a boom, boom, boom. How much more evidence do we have? Why can't we send, I don't know, FBI or somebody, whoever does this kind of thing, whatever? Child abuse? The goddamn welfare department needs to be investigated. Where's the FBI? Where's the Justice Department? Well, we can't bother him right now. He's making a speech about white people, how much they hate black people. So he's going to be tied up for a while. I mean, this is just absolutely pathetic. And this can't be happening just to her. This is what makes it even much worse. Is still, you know good and well that this is not an isolated case. So why isn't there any outrage, knowing that you've got an epidemic, basically? Because the federal government is involved, man. Does this go all the way up to the White House, and why would it? Well, are there donors along the way? Is that what it is? Get a taxpayer grant to pay off your donors? Help your friends? Isn't that criminal? Isn't that misuse of taxpayers' funds? Isn't that what that is? How many new taxes has he implemented? And again, what do these taxes get us? Well, poor. That's an accomplishment to a liberal. Because if everybody's poor, then everybody's the same. Look, if you want to live that way, then live that way. If you don't, then don't. But don't stop me from wanting to live the way I want to live because you don't like it. Well, I don't like the way you live your life. Keith Mason, president of Personhood USA. It's a group helping lead a Free Justina coalition. Justina gave the note to her parents a few weeks ago, and there has been some hesitation to release it because of how tyrannical the DCF has been, Mr. Mason said. This should have had law enforcement of some kind involved immediately. Right? You've got child abuse. I don't give a shit where it comes from. You got child abuse, you send people there. You at least investigate it. You don't fill out a 51A until after you've done an investigation and found actual physical, concrete proof of abuse. Well, this girl just sent it a note. We know that she hasn't been on her vitamin regimen. She's only seen a doctor once in a year and a half. So you tell me, well, what is abuse? What is medical neglect? How much more evidence do you need? I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. We got nobody. The governor, the judges, the welfare department, our attorney general. I mean, we've got one congressman. I can't remember where he's from. Oh, speaking of which, Raquel Okier, the reporter that gave us that interview on Monday, wants to come back tomorrow. And I said, absolutely, please. Yes, come back tomorrow. So hopefully she's got some new information now, is what she says. And she wants to, I guess she's got another article coming out, and she wants to talk about it. And I said, absolutely, come on the program. Love to have you. So hopefully she calls in tomorrow morning, probably around the same time, a few minutes after 10 o'clock. And that'd be nice to hear what she has to say. She's a good reporter, man. She's a hustler. You can't get the real media to go out and do it. So you got to get real Americans to go out and do it. People who actually care about it. And that's the kind of stuff that's where the real news is coming from. There's people like us, people who go on Blog Talk Radio, who go onto these websites where they've got real reporters doing real reporter work. And that's what it takes, man. That's all it takes. Just a little bit of time. That's all it really takes. So, I tip my hat, man. She's a hustler. She's coming up with some good stuff. And I love it. Keep it up. And she's in Florida. And this is going on in Massachusetts. So, but there are people waking up. There are people that really want to do something, but that's not the people that need to do something. It's the people that have the power to do something. That's the people that need to do something, but they're not. Why this is not an all-day, every-day, CNN, coverage like they did with that stupid airliner. They were more concerned with black boxes than the people. More concerned with cows and turtles and wind farms than they are for people. And these are the people that love and care, hope and change, gag and puke. That's what it is. Mason called the note troubling. Really? Troubling. Yeah, I guess that's a good word for it. I said a few other words when I found this out last night. I mean, we know the girl is now, we know it. Well, we always suspected it. I did. I mean, God only knows what happens. I don't understand how people who work around, like elderly people and the mentally ill and the stuff that they do to them. I've never understood that. I've never been able to understand that why you got to be, that physical with all these people, and why it's got to be that way. I've never understood that. It's boggled my mind since I've been a kid. Why do we allow it? I don't know. I thought we were supposed to be, civilized. Well, how civilized actually are we? What's going on here with this hospital? Now we've got Boston Children's Hospital. We've got the Wayside, what the hell they call it, Family or Children and Families Services, the goddamn welfare department. DCF. We've got judges. We've got governors. I mean, how high does this actually go up? Maybe that's why no one's willing to investigate it that much. Throw a big fit. I mean, they might cover it and make a brief mention. But you don't seem to feel the outrage like you do with them goddamn cows. And I'm not saying what's going on down there in Nevada shouldn't be fought. Don't take me wrong on that. That war's over a lot of things. It's not just turtles and cows, wind farms. It's over power and money. Money and power. Power, you can make the money. But I think it's a little bit more than that. I think it's a little bit more rubbing it in your face. They can't find another place to put this goddamn wind farm? What, are you kidding me? They have to have it there. They really need to have it right there, and they've got to pick on the Bundy Ranch because they've got cows. So that tells me that that's done deliberately, just to rub it in their face, to show them, look, I've got power, and I can prove it, and I can do it, and I can use it. I've got a pen, and I've got a phone as well as the president. I run this state. This Harry Reid and his entire frickin' family are creeps. That son of his. Well, we're going to get into that. I mean, this is, look, guys, we can't, look, I know, does it suck? Yeah. I know, we're going to have to get off the couch. We're going to have to do something. Whatever you can do. You can even just write a letter. If you can't get out to Massachusetts, you can at least write a letter. More letters they get. Anything. It doesn't matter what you do. But just so you understand what's going on, the next time you bring your child into a hospital, especially Boston Children's Hospital now, I mean, you've got to be very, very, very careful. They've done it to her. I'm sure they've done it to other kids. How many? We don't know. We do know of 144, thanks to Raquel. 144 files have gone completely missing. Where'd they go? We don't know. That was from the DCF. Where is it? Where are these files? We don't know. 94 of their, I guess, test subjects or patients that there's no doctor on scene, why they need to, under their care, 94 of them died. Now, were they natural causes, or was it this, were they that, were they abuse? Well, we don't know. But we do know that we got a letter from Justina, who's been trapped in there for months now, after she was taken from a psych ward. Had to go to a psych ward. Imagine that. A 14-year-old girl thrown into a psych ward with no medication. He took her off her vitamin regimen and left there all alone. Can't speak to her parents. It gets worse and worse and worse. And then they send her off for the last 4 months here now at the Wayside facility in Framingham. No doctor, no medication, nothing. Just left to die, and she can't communicate. She can't speak to her parents, but other than, hi, how you doing? It's a beautiful day. Is it raining? That kind of crap. So she sneaks this note in and says, hurry. Like, somebody come and rescue me. Okay, she should have been out that night. She should have been out last night. When that first letter got into over the airwaves, that she should have been released immediately. Why were there no police? Why were there no anybody who inspects or investigates child abuse? Why weren't they there? Isn't there a law enforcement that does that? I'm pretty sure. How come they didn't show up? How come they didn't at least investigate it? Huh? Well, are there no detectives on this case? Law enforcement's too busy? Is that what it is? Yeah. A lot of people to tase these days, isn't there? Yeah. Got to shoot them and hit them with your sticks. That takes a lot of time. It's a lot of energy. They get tired. So we don't have time to go out and, investigate child abuse. Mr. Mason says he thinks Justina is referring to her treatment by DCF employees and staff at Wayside. Yeah. Well, where else would it come from? Oh, my. She's been intelligent, figures out how to sneak out stuff. She's been risking life and limb to get any bit of information to us. Why? Why is she allowed to still be in that hospital? Why is there not one cop in Massachusetts to say, hey, wait a minute. We got child abuse here. Let's investigate it. There's no cops. There's nobody. Can't get a nurse. You can't get a one of those people that work there. What do they call them? Nobody? You can't even get the janitor? Nobody can step up. Nobody can say, hey, wait a minute, this is wrong. Nobody? No judges? No lawyers? No governors? Well, we got one congressman. I think his name is Stockman. How about the attorney general? Where? No attorney general? No, nothing. Nothing. Nobody. Not even the president. Well, because she's not worth very much. She's not a cow. She's not a turtle, for God's sake. Certainly not a wind farm. So we can't spend any real time and effort on it. The doctors, they know what they're doing. That's all right. Hey, Kathleen Sebelius, some people live. Some people die. Just the way it is. Hey, what are you going to do? Jesus, God almighty. Woke up this morning. Go outside to have my first cup of coffee. Still dark. The entire damn steps, stoop, everything. Ice. It snowed last night. Well, the snow melted and then froze. The whole steps, everything, covered in ice. I was like, what the? Are we ever going to get a spring? I don't know. It rained all day yesterday. Well, it looks like the sun's coming out now. All the snow's melted. So hopefully it's a nice day. I got a lot of stuff to do after the show anyway, so. All right, let's open up my treasure chest here, see if we can plunder any booty today.